In this section, we will cover how to install, share, and manage printers. Local printers connect directly to the computer via a port or wireless connection. A network printer has an Ethernet port connected directly to the network or uses Wi-Fi to connect to a wireless access point. There are two ways to make a printer available on a network. You can share a local printer, or a printer can connect directly to the network with its own network card or NIC and is identified on the network by its own IP address. Any computer can install and use a network printer. There's also a third way. You can have a network printer that you install and then share from a print server. This makes it easy to manage the printer and make it easier for users to install the printer. Now this is showing a shared local printer and a network printer, right? So computer A has a local printer and it's sharing it with everybody, and then also you have a network printer all by itself that everybody can access. And then, like I said, you could have it set up another way where you have that network printer and then you have a server that you add the network printer to and then share it as if it's like a local printer to that server, and it makes it easier to manage the network printer. Today printers can use USB, serial, wireless, or Ethernet, and older printers used parallel ports as well. The many types of wireless printers are Bluetooth and infrastructure or ad hoc wireless. Most often you'll use Bluetooth or infrastructure mode. Ad hoc is possible, but it's used rarely. Ad hoc is just it's connecting directly to each other without the use of an access point. Most home users have an access point, so you utilize the access point. But you don't have to. To install a printer, you need to have suitable print drivers. Windows has drivers for many types of printers already installed. If yours is not listed, you will likely need to go to the manufacturer's website of the printer and download the drivers. It is rare today that you would need a 32-bit driver, as most installations of Windows will be 64-bit. But you will always need to make sure which version of Windows you are working with and use the appropriate drivers. You can check your version by looking at the System's Property window. Right-click this PC and choose Properties. Then you'll be able to find out if you've got a 32-bit or 64-bit version of Windows. Some ways to share a printer are using an integrated print server, right? The printer provides its own print server. Configure a computer or server as a print server so you can manage all the print jobs from a centralized location. 3, over the network, other network hardware that has print server software embedded in it. You can secure a shared printer using the security tab on the printer's property box. Once again, on a shared printer, you can select print directly to the printer to prevent caching. However, if this is also a network printer with a direct connection on the network, nothing prevents someone from directly printing to the printer and going around the print server. So if documents are sensitive, you may also want to store the printer in a locked room and control access to the printer and documents. Just because you have a security tab on a shared printer, if it is truly a network printer, users can go around the print server and go directly to the printer. So you need to control access to the printer as well. There are 3 ways to share a printer. You can use the Settings app, use the Device and Printers window, or File Explorer or Windows Explorer. you can add a shared printer and click on it. Here's finding it in Windows Explorer, File Explorer. You go in the Network tab, and then if it's on the network and sees it on the network, that's one way you can add it. You can also go through the Add a Printer that you see in the background, and you can use the path, and we'll get into that a little bit more when we get into file sharing and that. We'll cover that, but it works the same for files or printers when you're doing shares. Can't really get into the printers here because of the labs that we have we don't have access to printers. Virtual printing. You can print a file instead of producing a hard copy at a printer, right? So many of us have probably already done this, but you can print to PDF or Microsoft's XPS or a bitmap file or other file. And then cloud printing, right? You can print to a printer anywhere on the internet from a computer or mobile device. It's a type of client-server application. Examples of cloud printing are Google Cloud Print or UniPrint Infinity. But make sure your software can encrypt the document or print job that you send over the internet. Otherwise, it does go in clear text, and if it's sensitive information, you probably shouldn't be cloud printing, but those are your options. But for best security, make sure it's encrypted. So we got printer features and add-ons. On the properties box, you're managing printer features and hardware devices. On some printers, you have a device settings tab, and you can dictate the size of paper, page orientations, quality of printing, color options, duplexing, and other add-ons. So all these you can actually control at the shared level and specify what size paper and what trays. Is it landscape or portrait? You can set those up by default so that they're always that way, or you can not define them and the user had to define them at each time. But that is our install, sharing, and maintaining. Install and sharing. Next section we'll cover printer maintenance next.